All right, everybody, welcome back to another Survivor Grand Rapids Bad Blood season-long recap. It is your host, Dom, and I am back here for our fifth finalist season recap of the season of Bad Blood. We have done 4 already, and if you're tuning in, this should come without warning. We're going to be discussing a lot of spoilers. We have done Carrie, Luke, Zoe, Aubrey, and now we are doing our fifth person, our sixth place person voted out of this season. Please help me welcome Hannah. Hannah, how's it going?
Hi.
How you
So
doing,
excited to be
Hannah?
here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for popping on. Before we even jump into things, I believe on your cast bio it was Hannah Lapko. What's
Yes.
with this new? Who's Hannah Morocco?
Yes. So if you guys remember, my partner in the game, Josh, and I are now married. We got married in July of last year, so coming up on 1 year. So
Wow,
yes, now off
congratulations,
the Lapco, Hannah Morocco now. So
Hanmo. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see you, Hannah. It's been a second since we've been live and in person. I know we've been touching base outside of Survivor, but this is strictly Survivor.
right.
You were a part of our finalists. You were one of our returnees coming back.
Yep.
So what was this experience like? How's the family doing? What was it like watching it back? Before we even dive into the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
explain that for us. How's everything going?
Oh my God. Well, my parents are obsessed with the show. They are like huge fans. They know everyone. Like now when I talk about my friends, they'll be like, "Oh, so and so from Survivor." And they're like, "Oh yeah." Um the cool thing about Survivor is that I've gotten so many friends from it. Like a lot of people live in Detroit, so I've been like hanging out with them. Like I hang out with Sydney and Charlie and stuff. So that's been awesome.
Mhm.
In terms of life updates, yeah, got married and Josh and I also bought a house. So that's been super exciting. Royal Oak. So that was in December. So that's kind of recent and
Yeah,
really been enjoying it. It's been great.
some big life updates. So I guess your parents tuned in.
Oh yeah.
What were they? What were their thoughts on how Hannah did this season?
They thought I did a great job. They were disappointed that I didn't make it all the way. And anytime someone talked about me in the confessional that wasn't super positive, my mom was like, all like annoyed about it. I'm like, Mom, it's not that serious. But she's just like a mama bear like that. But
Mhm.
they just love watching. It was super fun to talk about like each episode with them.
Yeah, we'll be talking about each episode or ebbing and flowing back and forth between
Yeah.
these episodes, kind of diving into things. So, something that you didn't get the chance to do last season with Fresh Meat was do a little bit of a recap. So we never got to
Yeah.
hear about your experience with Fresh Meat, other than like your little tidbit at the beginning of the season talking
Yeah.
about, you hurt your back, you're coming back, like that kind of stuff. So I guess talk to us a little bit about your experience with Fresh Meat.
It's kind of crazy looking back at it now. Like, I feel like I was so shy. And, like, anyone who talks to me, especially now, I think more so than back then, is like, no
Yeah.
one will ever say that I'm shy. Um,
Mhm.
I think I was kind of intimidated about the experience. I felt shy because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. So I felt like pretty nervous. But when I got out, I stayed around and like watched the game happen. I helped film a little bit and stuff. And then that really helped me the second time around to kind of know like how it works. And it gave me a better sense of how I could actually do well.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember you telling me like, or especially in your pregame press, like I don't really want to step on each other's toes, and
Yeah.
like I know Hannah as this super competitive person, and
Yeah.
I'm like, Hannah, this is a game, like, and you go all out, and so you were kind of dancing around that.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you entered Bad Blood, you gave your permission to be competitive and do
Yeah.
that. I guess, yeah, what was there like a switch or something or a game plan coming into Bad Blood that you channeled with that fresh meat experience?
Yeah, I definitely think like I kind of discovered too that like you don't always have to like be cutthroat to win. I wouldn't say my game was like cutthroat. I feel like I really formed good bonds with people and that like really helped my game. So my goal from the jump was like get to know people and get people to like me, like really. And I liked everyone so much, so that like actually was pretty easy because I enjoy talking to everyone, but I really tried to get to know each person and like form real bonds with them, and that was like my goal at the beginning, and I think it worked throughout. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, immediately you have one of your strongest bonds in the game, like even before things were going to happen.
yeah,
I think we had cast Josh, and I was going back and forth of whether or not we were going to have returnees or not.
yeah,
And we decided to full send it. Like you were gonna play, Zoe was gonna
yep,
play, but I had also informed like those with those blood bonds. So yourself, Josh, Adrian, Zoe, Tyler, and his sister Allie, and
yep,
then Grace and Brooklyn, that they would be, the partners in the game.
yep.
Little did you know everybody else would be partners too, but you were
Mhm.
aware that you were at least coming in as a partnership.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts like with Josh, like coming into play?
I mean, my thoughts were like definitely we were gonna have a bond. Like obviously we were gonna look out for each other as much as we could. Um, Other than that, we didn't really talk about it that much before, which I looking back I'm like maybe we should have. But I do think we like looked out for each other, but we weren't together until like it was almost too late. Like he was going to get voted out. And like
Mhm.
I tried, but it was kind of like there's not really was anything I could do.
Yeah, but like entering the game, like I felt you, especially when we were sitting down for those duo interviews, I felt like you definitely came in with a more accurate read. Like I remember on night
Yeah.
one, like day zero, basically,
Yeah.
like for those tuning in or might have heard on previous podcasts, we brought everybody in for day zero. Like I
Yeah.
basically, as the host, producer, that kind of stuff, I wanted to bring people in, spend the night together. So I didn't mind if they were mixing and mingling as long as they weren't really talking game, but
Yeah.
basically wanted to cut the tension of like the awkwardness so that we're not experiencing that right away on the mat. Like that we're getting
Yeah.
like the introductions out of the way. People can, at least talk to people. And so it was just kind of a pregame way to get the ball rolling a little bit. And I remember you and Josh sat down to do your duo interview.
Yeah.
You're like, I purposely get up, I leave the camera rolling, and I come back and I see the footage where you're like, okay, Josh, like you need to go talk to this person.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
And like you were
Yeah.
kind of giving them the rundown of
Yeah.
like, what to do. So like, yeah, I guess did you might have prepped them a little bit, but I guess like did you come in with a more like I don't know, like a more mature way of approaching the game?
Yeah. I came in and I was like, I already had friendships obviously in the game. Like I was friends with really close friends with Tyler and a few other people, but I was like, I need to get people to like me and I need to form these bonds early on and like learn about people. And my goal was when you did put us into tribes, that people be like, oh, that's great. I'm with Hannah. Like I wanted people to feel that way.
Hmm.
And because like we had already talked or they liked me or like we already like had a bond. So I literally that night in my notes app on my phone, I was like writing down like who I felt like I had a connection with and like some things about them that I learned in the night, like even if it was like small facts that they told me, like where they worked or something, so I could like you like continue to build that relationship with them. And I was telling Josh this. I was like, here's what I've like written down about people, like just so you know. And he was like, I don't think I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna I'm like, dude, I'm like, you gotta like try to do this with like you gotta know this stuff. And he was like, I was like,
That,
okay,
that
whatever.
was it's a veteran approach to the game, and I think you definitely approached it, in a more fluid way than you did
Yeah,
before. But a lot of that kind of comes down to how the game shakes out. Like fresh meat, like none of you guys have heard about it. We played the drinking survivor here and there, but like that you got the kind of the experience. And so the
yeah,
bad blood people are coming in and they're like, all right, we watched fresh meat, we're ready to go. Like, but nobody really truly knows how things are going to go. when you start approaching that mat and like I'm giving you the buffs, I'm putting you into tribes, like did you have like a sense of confidence of like I've been here before, I'm ready to roll, or was it, new game shivers all over again?
I would say it was pretty nerve-wracking, but that's a great question. I definitely felt better than the first time for sure. But there was an extra added element of the fact that I had played before. I know I was only in for like one. I did not even survive one tribal, but even so, like I had this title of returning player, so there was that added level of like, is because of this, am I gonna have a target on my back? So that made me a little bit nervous, but I would say I definitely like felt better than the first time.
So yeah, I mean, how about the people that you were playing with? You said that you were taking notes on people, but also you are in a really unique position on this tribe, and something that we'll definitely be talking about on your podcast is the dynamic that you have with the Grand Rapids friends, as well as going against them or playing with them, that kind of stuff. So I guess with comparing the fresh meat, did you feel like you were surrounded by more potential allies like entering Bad Blood? And I guess like who from that cast of that you met on day 0 or that you met on your tribe were you like, okay, I need to link up with this person?
Well, I definitely was close to like Tyler, obviously. I'm trying to think. Oh, Chase was like, I'm super good friends with Chase, but unfortunately he was out after round 1.
Yes.
Which was sad.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Other than that, I knew Adrian and Zoe. I'm friends with them. Grace, I loved. But other than that, I would say like someone I was really excited once I started to get to know them was John. John's so awesome. And we still hang out. So like shout out to John. But I was super excited to get to know him. Obviously Aubrey, like we were tight throughout the game. So she was like someone I was excited to work with. And then before the beef, I had a good time with Luke like the day before. And then Josh came up to me and was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, but
you can't play with Luke anymore because of Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess to go back and maybe rephrase that question, like how much were you relying on like Grand Rapids relationships in the game, like on day 1, or were you set like, okay, I have these relationships, but I need to form new ones. I'm not going to rely on these all throughout the game, because we see on Vengeance, your now husband and Tyler are like Grand Rapids strong. We're Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Like what was your thought about that? Like how committed were you to that? And like, yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would say like going into it for sure, I was like, well, it's always Dearborn adjacent people that win. And like that's still true, which is so annoying. So I was like, I really want a Grand Rapids person to win. But then once you're in it, it's like you kind of just start feeling out the game. And you kind of get more like selfish, if that makes sense. Like I kind of was focusing on my game and like who would be the best people for me to move forward. But like starting out, I was like, okay, I can work with Grace and Chase were on my squad. And then they got voted out pretty early on. And then on my team, like there weren't many Grand Rapids people left, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Grace and
and so they were out, and I wasn't unfortunately there for the Grace vote. Otherwise,
you had your vote taken away, so you had
so I would have, I would have tried more to keep her in. But at that point, I kind of was like fending for myself, and then these alliances I had were not Grand Rapids, and then it just kind of happened.
Yeah,
I was bummed though, like at seeing the final that we were all gone, but it's all right. Eli and I made it.
Yeah, you guys were representing, and Zoe. Zoe's technically with you too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was something that Zoe talked about on our podcast, where she said, like, I mean, it's so nice to be included in a group, and like, especially early days, to have that mentality of, this is how, just an easy thing to connect people. But she, once an opportunity kind of presented itself, like it kind of outweighs the commitment that you might have had to an idea of something, because it might not come to fruition. So
I think Tyler would disagree.
Yeah.
Tyler was like Grand Rapids, like.
Well, I mean,
Josh kind of was too.
Tyler, I feel like didn't really, like, he was Grand Rapids, but it was also like not like at some point, like I feel like you have to like come to that idea that not everybody can win. Like, yes, Grand Rapids, but like once we get to that point of everybody Grand Rapids left, like who's going to be in? And it's some people started turning their heads on that. And we even saw, that kind of be a big turnoff for a lot of those other individual players. Like Luke had those Grand Rapids people's numbers like from the jump. So I mean, it's not like that was being hidden by anybody. So
he like has a really good memory of things. Like he would like recall things like, oh, I don't like that someone said that. And I'm thinking about when I was in the game, like stuff like went over like that went way over my head.
Yeah. So let's talk about round one. So you guys get to the mats. I tell everybody that they're getting split into tribes. You guys immediately vote somebody out. You say that you are close with Chase, and Chase gets eliminated or gets sent to Exile Island right off the bat. What are your thoughts about that? Like, with Chase getting sent out.
I mean, I was definitely sad. Like, obviously I didn't vote for Chase, and like I was like, he was the closest person to me, maybe along with Grace on my tribe. So I was definitely like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I was kind of happy because Zoe was the other returner and she got voted out. So as soon as you said that she got voted out, I was like, oh, here I go. And I think I only got like one vote from James, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, like, just because he didn't know me, he just put a name down. So I was like, okay, that's actually like, for me, that's pretty good. I was bummed, obviously, for Chase, but I figured you had something up your sleeve. You know,
I can't do that, guys.
Yeah.
But Chase comes back from Exile Island. You guys are still in optimistic spirits of, that Vendetta has a chance at being a winning team.
Yeah.
And during that, like you said that you're starting to make bonds with people. You mentioned John. Was there anybody else on the tribe that you were kind of gravitating towards?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think if I was with Aubrey yet. Definitely like Adrian too, I would say. Yeah, because I knew Adrian not as well as I do now, I would say, but like he's someone I really got along well with, and I noticed he was gravitating towards Grace as well.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like two people that I was like definitely trying to work with.
How about James? Because James seemed to be kind of like a central figure, at least at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it seemed like you guys might have hit it off, early on.
Yeah, we did. Well, him voting for me actually like was a conversation starter, like and then I just kind of kept going back over to him and talking and stuff. And yeah, he was a great player, and he was super smart and strong and stuff. So I thought it would be good to like have, form an alliance with him.
So you guys lose the challenge, and you have to vote somebody out. And I mean, the writing starts to be on the wall that Chase is going to be out, but we found out in episode 2 that Chase slides you the clue for the immunity idol. So walk through that whole process of getting that from Chase, and like, what's going on in your head.
Yeah, well, it's so early on, and then I had this clue, and it's so nerve-wracking, especially at the beginning when you get something like that, because there's so many people around.
Yeah.
So I had a clue about where to look for the idol, and it was so hard to find it. Like, I was like, people are all around you. But I ended up like, this isn't a later episode, but I did end up using it. But I was like nervous to try to find time to find it. But I was excited too at the thought of like possibly getting an advantage.
But you guys had no downtime, so it was very hard for you to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys, next round, it's pretty easy. Unanimous vote for Drew.
Yes.
And then things kind of shake out to the point where you guys are down like 7-10, and you
Yeah.
lose another challenge, and you have to vote John to the other tribe. So tell us
Yes.
a little bit about that, like about how you end up, decided. I believe you might have voted for Carrie to go. So
Yeah.
what was it for you that, how was it for you that John was leaving?
Yeah, I was so bummed. I voted Carrie because like her and I just didn't, obviously, like I love her, but at the beginning we just didn't really know each other that well and we didn't have a chance to connect. So I voted for her because we weren't, like, I didn't see the connection there to form an alliance or anything.
Yeah.
But Don was like we had such a strong bond from the get-go. Like I talked to him and I was like, I feel like I've known you for years. Like, so definitely that was a huge loss. So I was pretty bummed, but
And
I mean, we reconnected. It ended up working out okay.
yeah, you end up, partnering up and having that connection again. But afterwards, you suffer kind of another big loss
Yeah.
with Grace going home. So you get sent to Exile Island, and you lose your vote because you can't do a slide puzzle.
I was horrible at that slide puzzle.
Tyler.
I was just like praying for it to be over because I was like, I'm not going to get it. Okay, anyway, sorry.
But that was one of your biggest moments, I felt like, because you got to have that conversation with Tyler, let him know that his sister's doing okay, and also get the information that Josie is kind of stirring things up on Vengeance Tribe. So tell us a little bit about that relationship with Tyler. Like, at that point, did you see him as like a friend in the game? And I guess, what was that balance of friend and in-game relationship for you?
Oh man, I was so excited to see Tyler in that moment. Like, I 100% saw him as like such a great friend that I wanted to work with and like go to the end with. Like, I didn't know at this time how he was gonna play. So I was just so excited to work with him. I was like ready to look out for Allie for him. Like, I was definitely like wanting to work together. I was bummed we weren't together from the beginning, but I mean, looking back, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like, I mean, eventually we'll circle back to like Grace and eventually that joint tribal council. But up to this point, like you guys are unaware of what's going on over at Vengeance Tribe.
Yeah.
You don't know what Josh is involved in. You don't know, what Tyler's been doing over there.
Yeah.
When you watch that back for the first time, like episodes 1-4, like what are your thoughts about the Vengeance Tribe shenanigans over there?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was, I know they had some stuff like going against Josie, and then there was like, it seemed very like there was 4 people that were like running stuff and everyone else was just like kind of at their mercy, it felt like. So definitely I was glad. I kind of watched it and I was like, that looks interesting and like dynamic and stuff, but I was kind of glad I wasn't over there.
Well, what did you think of watching Josh be all up in it?
Yeah, that was okay. So before the game, like if you know Josh and me well, like you would have thought that I would be the one to be like aggressive and like playing super competitively, and that he would be the one that would like just really be like more, I don't want to, he's not timid at all, but like just he really wants to be kind like all the time. Like, so when he came over and he's telling me how he's playing, and then even watching it, I was like, what? It was cool though. It was fun. I like to see he was kind of aggressive and like going after it. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely impressed me because Josh sat down and did his interview and was basically like, I don't know how I'm gonna play. Like, I'm not good at backstabbing, but a switch will flip, and it seemed to have flipped very early for him.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
I mean, he's competitive, so like I wasn't like, I've always known he's competitive, but I didn't expect it to be like he was. So it was pretty cool. It was fun.
So moving back, Tyler beats you. You lose your vote. You have to head to tribal council and figure out like what's going on. You really do nothing about it. Like it seems like, I mean, the votes are kind of swayed on Grace off of Adrian's pitch that
that was great. Like, come on, Adrian. Like, I was so mad. And it's funny because we watched the episode together and I was like giving him a hard time about it. Because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, she was looking out for him. He was looking out for her. They had a great thing going. There was no reason to do that. Like,
what were you thinking coming back and hearing that Grace was the target?
yeah, well, and then Adrian's like, oh, I voted for her. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Anyways, I was upset. Grace is so awesome. And I think, like, if she had stayed in, we could have gone far together, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So Carrie ends up staying in, and you have lost two allies in a row, like John and Grace. What is going through your head? Like, where are you looking to solidify more relationships?
I feel like, I mean, I was definitely at that point kind of scrambling. But even from the beginning, I feel like I was forming bonds with people. So I felt like you had mentioned, James was like a great ally for me at the beginning. But definitely, like, I was scrambling a little bit. I feel like I relied on Adrian as well, and definitely Aubrey. Like, we got really close and like went far together. So that was like, that kind of helped me. But I was kind of not glad. It almost forced me to like get out of my comfort zone and go make these alliances. And it helped me further in the game because I already had friends on the other tribe. So then when everyone came together or switched tribes or whatever, I kind of had friends in all places at that point.
Yeah.
So that was kind of helpful.
I was gonna say, like, it's interesting to talk about these because every single one of our final six that I've talked to thus far, like, they have talked about their allies and, like, you know, who they pinpoint as of who they wanted to work with, who they were kind of against. And like, it seems like for you, Hannah, at least for at day one, like, you were really going just where you were socially able to. Like, you just kind of spread out and were like just having good vibes with everybody and just weren't really directly targeting anybody, but also just making sure you were really good with people.
Yeah.
Was that like intentional, or was that just the vibes of who you are as a person and as a player?
I mean, I was definitely intentional, like, but at the same time, that's just kind of my personality. Like, I like people, I like talking to people, I like making friends. So like, it is kind of a strategy, but I just really enjoyed getting to know everyone. Like I said, it helps that everyone was like so cool. So like, my goal though was for people to look to me and say like, oh, Hannah's someone I can rely on, or like, I want to talk to Hannah, I want to get to know Hannah. Like, it was in the back of my mind, but like I said, it was so easy because like, just everyone was awesome.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch back because like in the moment, like, I feel like you have a lot of opportunities to be like, I'm not in a good position. Like, I just lost two allies. A big threat. But like, a lot of like watching it back, a lot of information goes through you and you get the information. You're cool with everybody. People say that they want to work with you. They say that you have good vibes. When you're out there, did you feel yourself like as this, you know, presence on the tribe, or were you, you know, not really acknowledging that?
I would say I felt it. Honestly, this game, like, I would say especially in the beginning, like, I felt good. I felt confident. I felt like I was making good relationships. So even when my allies were out, I was like, I feel like I'm already forming bonds with everyone else. So I wasn't like too concerned. But I would say I felt good. Like, it gave me a sense of confidence, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, we see some big confidence come from you at the Joint Tribal Council, where you guys at at Vendetta, like, canoodled with each other to find out that plan to pull your partners so that you guys can.
That was awesome.
Yeah, you can throw a Hail Mary to potentially get out one of Vengeance's people. You supply the information that Josie is on the bottom on the other tribe. And you initiate the move to get up and start talking at tribal council. So I guess, talk us through that. Like, how confident were you that Josh would be a part of that? Were you surprised in the moment, like, that people actually did the plan? And then also watching it back, like, what things about that tribal council, like, really surprised you?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, that's probably my favorite episode. I think it's so fun. And the way you edited it was so cool. But I we had to throw a Hail Mary. Like, and I honestly was thinking about this, like, if I were to make it to the end, like, that would have been, like, a big part of my little spiel.
Mhm.
But I was very confident that Josh would go with me because of what Tyler said. He was like, well, we're, like, Josie's at the bottom, and, like, I think he had mentioned to me that, like, Josh was, like, with him and stuff. So I figured if they're together and they're telling me this, then they would be happy to get her out, especially if it's to save, like, me, and Allie is on my tribe as well.
Yeah.
But it's definitely nerve-wracking. And then I didn't know, like, who was going to be the first one to say it when we were sitting down. Like, that's not something we covered. And I was like, am I going to be the one to do it? Because I knew that was going to target me. But I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big risk, I would say, especially because, like, Josh and I are so close, you know. But
well, it's a big risk, and it definitely, it's a big risk. I mean, you had to do it for Vendetta, and through that lens, you know, from my lens of the editor, it's like, okay, like, you have, like, this underdog tribe that is throwing this Hail Mary, and then you have this other POV from Luke that's like, okay, these couples are running this game, like, they are able to do this. Like, were you nervous? Like, I mean, watching that back, obviously, like, Luke has your guys' number, but, like, were you acknowledging that at all, that, like, there was discussion, or that there was a threat of showing that power of your couple?
Oh, 100%. I was for sure like, this is going to put a huge target on my back. And I was actually surprised, like, I lasted so long after that. Like, I was like, but I was like, it's fun, and, like, it's good TV, and we got to make a big move here, so screw it. But I was, like, really surprised. But I'm just bummed it didn't work, too. Like, oh my God. Like, it was supposed to work. Come on, Carrie.
Yeah. I mean, I think Carrie regrets that one, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we end up getting James getting sent home, yet another ally off your list. So
I know.
Going back to camp, and I remember you having kind of a hard first night, you know, like, really emotional for you. It's kind of the complete opposite of what you experienced on Fresh Meat. Like, you guys won constantly, and even though you got voted out with a hurt back, like, it was kind of seamless, no real bad blood. Like, what was it like for you closing out that first day of, you know, your first full successful day of Survivor, but still dealing with all the hardship of it?
Well, I think day one I had 4 tribal councils, is it?
Yeah, yes, 4, and then 5 technical vote outs with voting John out.
Okay, so that is, like, those tribal councils are hard. It's, like, hard to try to pick someone to vote out. That's, especially, I try to be a kind person. I don't like being mean to people and stuff. So I felt just terrible every time, even if it was somebody I, like, didn't know that well. I was like, so sorry. So that was hard, and then 2 was so hot.
Yeah.
So hot day 1, and then we were just in the sun all day. So I think and we were running around. So I think part of it was exhaustion. Like, I was so tired, and I had to tell, and then I felt so bad. But I was like, I just had to sleep and then wake up the next day, and I did feel refreshed the next morning.
Yeah.
But
well, how refreshed were you? I mean, you guys slept in the barn and then had to evacuate into the basement.
Yeah.
Aubrey said it was kind of rough down there. How was your first night?
So we were in the barn, and then there was a crazy storm, like, insane. I think the tents, like, blew over and stuff. Like, it was so bad. Yeah, so then we had to go to Eric's basement, and the basement's unfinished and cold. So there was cement, and I like had this little sleeping bag that was super thin. So I was on the cement in this cold, dark basement, and then, like, someone was snoring super loud, and I was like, I got no sleep, and I was so upset. But we proceed, as they say.
But good news the next day. I mean, you guys swapped, and you get Josh on your team. How was that for you? I'm sure it was nice to be able to play together and have, like, that sense of comfort. But, like, on the game side of things, like, where was your head at?
Yeah, it was definitely, like, mixed emotions, because on the one hand, I was super excited that we were finally together, and it was mostly like, I wanted to have fun with him. So that was the one part, and then the other part was just the night before. Like, we had made this big move together, and now we're together in the same tribe. I'm like, well, one of us is gonna get voted out, like, obviously, so that was like the nerve-wracking part of it. And then we had that talk, I think, and he had told me that Luke had asked to work with him, and he said that he already had too many people. And I was like, you can't say that this early on. That's just going to get Luke to want to vote you out. And then there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, immediately you guys swap, and Josh tries to start planting those seeds that Luke is public enemy number one.
Yeah.
It seemed like he hadn't even talked to you at that point about it. And he was like already talking to Zoe, already talking to Samantha about it, Sam, like just
big moves.
Yeah, telling him all about the Luke plan, and then eventually informs you about it. And Luke ends up having like one of the craziest challenge performances that we've had. Yeah. And you guys are kind of at this point where, like, well, I guess we kind of got to get rid of Luke now, Yeah. And we see you and Josh having this conversation, and you tell Josh, like, well, we need to get back and start having the talks. And Josh is like, no, like, it's all good. Like, I've already talked to everybody. And you're like, no, like, they are not going for that. Did you feel like there was a counter move going on against you guys? Because it seemed, when I was editing it, Josh seemed blindsided. I don't know how blindsided you were.
Yeah, I don't feel like I was. When I knew he was throwing Luke's name out, I like got a sense that people were gonna like throw his name out too when you're that aggressive about something. And so I told him, I'm like, you should probably, like, we should go, like, defend you. Like, I gotta, and and then when I went to do it, it almost seemed too late. Like, people were like, yeah, I'm like, come on, guys. Yeah, so, yeah, it was unfortunate, but I did see the writing on the wall.
Yeah. What was your strategy playing that round? Did you have one, like, of how you and Josh were going to go about, navigating playing the game together?
Yeah, so I think what we discussed was like, we're gonna keep our talks like brief. I mean, obviously you have to communicate to a certain extent, but it wasn't gonna be like the two of us over in the corner like deciding our game plan.
Yeah.
I didn't want people to see that. So like, and obviously we could talk together in groups, but like I was like, when it comes to just the two of us, like we kind of have to be like communicating saying as much as we can in as like little time as possible. Like,
yeah,
because I knew we just had the biggest target.
Mm-hmm. And we see the vote end up getting flipped onto Josh. It was a first tie, and then Aubrey eventually flips and breaks that tie to send Josh home. Josh had quite the plea to stay in. So, I mean, you guys, did you at that point, did you know Josh was gone?
Yeah. Well, after, like, I talked to I think it was Zoe and Aubrey. And I was like,
this was at tribal council, right?
Yeah,
like after everything happened, and then people got up to
talk about it.
Yes. And I cut that out of the episode because it was not dramatic. But
the non-dramatic part of it is that I talked to them, and I'm like, guys, like, we got to get Luke. Like, come on, like, we can do this. And they're like, it's too late. Like, we're voting Josh. And then I went to Josh, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, you're screwed. He's like, no.
Dang.
Like, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. Luke ends up staying in, and we know how that story ends up. But
I don't know. I'm like, damn it, we should have gotten him.
Yeah. I think that was a big turning point in the game. We talked about, again, that with Aubrey and with Zoe, like, that was a big move for a lot of people, and like making that move, as well as I would say maybe you even receiving that move, because that really opens you up to a lot of maybe freedom in the game to, pave your own path, not attached to Josh. Did you feel that kind of like right away?
Yeah, he gets mad at me because the confessional after he got out, I was like, oh, I'm so sad, but here's my game plan. I'm gonna completely cut myself off from that, and I'm gonna be my own player, and I'm gonna go talk to. And I was like, just totally like, okay, now I get to like, not get to, but now I have to be my own player in this game. And like, I quickly said that, and he was like, you don't even get sad that I got voted out.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was even more mad that I went to Luke after that, and I was like, we should form an alliance. He was like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
I
that
thought that
was
was the best move for me.
that had to be. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Go down with the ship with Sam? Like,
He told me that I should have defended his honor.
yeah. I think Tyler.
He's just kidding, but
Yeah. I think Tyler had that covered though. Tyler was doing his own vengeance for Josh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, before we get into, the cleanup that you had to do, let's leave Josh with some flowers. Watching it back, and even like in the game, like what were you most proud of for Josh, like being able to be in the game with you?
I was so proud of him for being a leader on his tribe. That was super fun to watch. Like, people were looking to him, and he was making like big moves, and he was doing it with confidence. And I think I was so proud watching him like thrive in that way. I feel like he was competitive. He was a leader. Like, it was really, really fun to watch, and I was super proud of him. And I was also sad that he like didn't go farther with me, but I thought he did a great job.
What about like your favorite experience that you guys got to do, either in game or watching it? Like, fill us in on the Hannah Josh survivor relationship?
Yeah, I would say it's hard because in the game we weren't like together for very long, but beforehand we did like those really fun interviews that you did with us, and like you got us to think about things that we haven't talked about in a while, like different views on like competition and like all that stuff. So that was super, super fun. Like the B-roll was fun with him. And the move to get Josie out was super fun. Like the move with him to like make this plan in front of everyone in this dramatic moment was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys got to have that.
Yeah, me too. It was super fun.
Yeah. So yeah, before the what did he say? Before the blood's even dry, or before the dust is even settled, or whatever, you go and talk to Luke, and you're very open in your confessionals of this is like, Josh is done. Like, I have to be my own player now. Like, I have to do what I have to do. And you start talking with Luke, and Luke, that is not reciprocated. Luke is very confident that you are out to get him. Like, but we do see you end up working with Luke like along the way. Like, did you immediately get that hesitation from him, or do you think you ended up warming up to him a little bit?
Yeah, so I talked to him after Josh got out, and I was like, that went really well, like to myself. I was like, wow, that was a really good. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, did not go as well as I thought. But Luke's one of those people that before, like, I got to know, like, day zero, I guess. I, like, felt like him and I, like, bonded and stuff. So I was, like, looking forward to working with him. So when Josh told me that, I was like, oh, man, like, I was hoping that we could all work together. But, yeah, I did not think it went well, but it did eventually go well until it didn't.
Yeah. And Zoe ended up, kind of helping to lead that charge. It's really hard to attribute the move to somebody, because I feel like Luke was very vocal. We're going against Josh. Like, this is Luke's drive. But I feel like Zoe did a lot of work, like maybe flipping the votes, if there was anything to like really flip. But she, talked with Samantha, she talked with Magingo, and ended up getting those votes onto Josh. Like, how did your relationship with Zoe after that kind of move forward?
I think it was totally fine, which is terrible to say. I'm sorry, Josh, but I really wanted to make a point to like, I'm not upset. I want to have my own game, and I felt like that was just the best move for me. I don't think I even realized until watching it that Zoe was doing that. Like, I attributed it all to Luke, and then they kind of just went along with it because of our like partnership.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know, but even if I did, I don't think I would have cared.
It is really when you start to set your
Yeah,
stride. I mean, you guys like win the next couple of challenges
yeah,
and you start to form like this alliance. It seems like you really start to solidify that bond with
yeah,
Aubrey during that time. And yeah, you have that alliance with Zoe, Aubrey, you have conversations with
yep,
McGingo, you have Sam on the chopping block in case you
yep.
lose. Like you start lining up like the game pretty nicely. Like I guess, yeah, tell us a little bit about the discussions that you were having during that time and how you maybe reflect on those relationships during those, those rounds that where you weren't really having to do too much work.
Yeah, I was just, well, from the get-go, I just talked to the whole tribe. I'm like, listen, guys, like, I'm my own player. Like, I really want to do this now, like, as just Hannah.
Yeah.
I felt like that was reciprocated well. And then I just continued, like, to form those bonds with people that I had already started before that. But I felt like this time I didn't have a giant red X on my back
Yeah.
like I did before. So that was like, I guess it was different than when before Josh was out, but obviously, like I wanted to go
Yeah.
together.
But it was also the first time in the game where you got to breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
You'd been to tribal council every single
yeah,
round and you get to breathe. Time
yep,
for vengeance to get a little taste of blood. And you have Tyler avenging Josh, throwing challenges to get
yeah.
Josie out, deciding to cut Adrian with 30 seconds left in a canoodle time.
So
Like,
crazy.
yeah, watching that back and technically being allied with Tyler after your walk to exile, like watching that back, what are your thoughts on Tyler's moves over there?
I was just like, I could not believe the moves he was making. I thought it was so like insane. Like looking back, it's so cool that he did that. Like it's really fun. It's bold. Like why not have fun? I feel like he just had fun playing. Like he was just doing like
Mhm.
really crazy stuff. I was glad I wasn't over there though because I would have aligned myself with Tyler and then I would have been associated with those crazy moves, which is just not my game. So like that's fine, but I couldn't believe it. Especially he would tell me he's like, "Oh, I threw a challenge." I'm like, "What?" You saw my face. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
So something we didn't even discuss was you decided to share the idol
oh
with
yeah,
your tribe, and Aubrey
yeah,
ends up finding it, and you guys swap it at that tribe swap.
yeah,
Allie ends up getting it. What's it like seeing the idol that you got
yeah,
the clue for being used as like this some sort of weapon against your former vendetta tribe?
yeah." I had a sense something was coming. Like I felt like we had like things were gonna start to change a lot. So I was like, we gotta find it. If it's not me, somebody's. And we had the Vendetta tribe had been gotten really close at this point because I think there was only I don't know like five of us left. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, five of us left. So we're like thick as thieves at this point. We've been through several tribal councils. We're like, and we had talked like we're gonna be like we're gonna stick together because we're like we've been through it, you know.
Mhm.
But then I'm like, it gets then we you have to like trade it to the other tribe. So I'm like, and then she gives it to who did she give it to? Remind me.
So Aubrey finds it, gives it to Allie, and then
Yeah,
Allie goes over to the other tribe and is like, this is for Adrian, this is for Carrie, we can use it whenever, and
yeah,
then immediately goes to Tyler and goes, I have an idol, we can use it for ourselves. Like,
yeah. So I was like, I just lost it. I kind of accepted it. I was like, you know what? It was kind of a Hail Mary, whatever. I was like, it was a bummer.
yeah.
Especially because if I found it earlier, I could have given it to Josh.
Hmm.
But
What were your thoughts about seeing the Postmas like link up like that? In the game, did you expect that to be as strong as a duo as it was?
no, I mean, I always knew like Tyler's close with his family, but I didn't realize how close they are. Like I was surprised, and it's so sweet. I thought that their dynamic was really sweet when we were playing. Like he really looked out for her, and it was nice. But yeah, they were super close, like super super close.
Hmm.
So it was definitely like something to look out for. But I like love Tyler, and then I really liked Allie, so I was like. I didn't really bother me at all because I was close with them, but I could see how people who weren't like that would be like, oh geez, you
Yeah.
know.
What did you think of Adrian going out? Because Adrian was a part of your OG Vendetta group.
Yeah, that definitely made me sad. I mean, I I did feel like Zoe and Adrian were super close too, so like it's almost like kind of good to break up the partnerships. Mine was already broken up. But I definitely was sad to see Adrian go, but I had a lot of other alliances, so I was all right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you swap and you swap again. You end
Yeah.
up going onto the other tribe,
Yeah.
Vengeance, Tyler's camp because he's been there all game with Eli, and
Yeah.
you get all the tea from Tyler. You know, he's telling you he's throwing challenges.
Yeah.
The people he's aligned with, that he's bringing in Aubrey, that he's going to go for Samantha, like
Yeah.
that he got Adrian out in 30 seconds. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of bragging about all this stuff,
Yeah.
but also it can be viewed from our lens of being friends. Like it can be viewed as like him just being like, yeah, I just did this cool stuff. Like it didn't really, it could either be viewed as bragging if you don't know Tyler, or it could be viewed as him being like, yeah.
Yeah, I did not view it as bragging at all.
Yeah.
It was just like I did all this stuff and like it was fun. I was like, oh no way. Like that's crazy.
So so I guess at that point, like, did you take off the game and you were like, okay, like I'm working with Tyler now, like we're doing this, or were you like
this didn't intimidate me at all. I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like let's go. Like let's have some fun.
What was your read on that that new tribe? So you had, you were coming over. Eli and Tyler had been playing the whole game together. John was on your tribe, but he kept kind of getting pushed out to exile.
Yeah.
You had Aubrey and you had Samantha over there. So
yeah.
What was your read on where things were going?
That was a great tribe. Like I was super excited. Like Tyler and I are really close. Aubrey was like my probably best ally from the other tribe. John, like I said, from early on, we like got along so well, and I've been friends with Eli for a while. So I was like, Samantha, I know, but we weren't close or anything. But I still was like, she's great, and I was super excited. I was like, I'm like I felt really good about my connections on that tribe.
Yeah.
Until I got moved again, but
yeah. So, talking about that tribe, you end up, having the conversation with everybody, and you're like, okay, like we're all, Tyler said that we're all working together, right? Tyler said, and then he walks in on you guys and starts doing his whole interrogation thing. And like, talk to us through that, because that's one of my favorite scenes of the season. His irrigation thing, and you tell him straight up, just dude, chill.
Yeah. Well, it's nice when you're like at a certain closeness with someone that you can just be brutally honest with them. Because like I don't think I would have said that to anyone else, like other than Josh, obviously. But yeah, he's like, we're all so solid at this point in my mind. Like I don't know conversations, obviously, that happened outside of the show or my conversations, but we were so solid. Like Samantha was kind of on the outs at that point. Like it was going to be, that's who probably we were going to vote out. Like we had a game plan. Everyone was aligned. Like we were really solid. And he's freaking out. He's so paranoid. I think it's because of the big moves he made. He was so paranoid. I'm like, you got to chill out, because when you keep questioning people aren't going to like want to vote you out. Like, I feel like if you're going to make those big moves, you got to kind of like maybe sit for a sec. Mm-hmm. And like, it was such a time to just have fun and like hang out, and not like he was raising flags when it was like a pretty chill time in the game.
Well, it's really hard to pinpoint where you decide that I'm going to turn on Tyler. Like, obviously we see you do that in the merge.
Yeah.
Is that the point where you start to like question of like, how long can I be working with Tyler?
Yeah. So after that, I'm like, I felt like he was really watching me too, like seeing who I was talking to and if I was going to turn on him and stuff. And I was like, I didn't love that part of it. And then also I felt like I didn't want to be just one of Tyler's like minions, I guess. Like I felt like he was like, it felt like he was like collecting people in the game to like join him per se. Like, and I just didn't. Eventually, I was like, I kind of want to just do my own thing. And he was just becoming a public enemy. I'm like, I can't like be right with this guy anymore. It's gotta end.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't think you distinctly say like this is my relationship with Tyler is, you know, this is where I'm clocking it.
I wouldn't say it happened like all like at one specific moment.
Yeah.
You know?
But I could sense that you definitely weren't all eggs in this basket. Not to say that you necessarily were at any point, but I feel like that for a lot of players was when they started to be like, okay, this is a little much for this game. And we eventually see a couple rounds later how that comes to fruition. Other thing I want to talk about is this is when, because we talked about this with Aubrey 2 days ago, where Aubrey starts to, you know, really start to articulate in her confessionals, like, I really want to work with Hannah. However, I cannot start going to the end with her. And so I'll, if you didn't watch her podcast, I can let you know her explanation for that. But what was it like seeing that play back for you?
Yeah, I had no idea from that early on that she was like, I can't do this with Hannah. I'm like, looking back, I was shocked. I mean, her reasoning makes sense. Like, I totally get it. And I respect her as a player. She played like a hell of a game. So no bad blood, as they say. But I did not have any idea. Like, up until when she voted me out, I was like, I was like unsure if she was actually like doing what she was doing. Yeah, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. So she said in her podcast, like, she really didn't, like, she loved working with you, but it was like she had to almost like remind herself in her confessionals is like putting a pin in something of like, I need to be able to remember that Hannah, I cannot go to the end with Hannah because she is such a partner in this game to me, such a good ally in this game to me, so fun to work with, that like I know that my game cannot beat Hannah's game, and I need to put a pin in that to just keep reminding myself that, you know, this relationship is not end game. Like, I need to, you know, I need to not be able to go to the end. And I think she also saw how you were able to go to the other tribe, where you two were just, you know, vendetta girls who were losing all day, and then you were able to also collect all of Tyler's allies just so quick. Were you like able to recognize that you were like that was good for you, but that other people might be clocking that?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think about it like during the game, but like looking back, I'm like, that is true. Like, I went from one tribe where I like had great connections and felt really good to another tribe where I just fit right in because of the previous relationships I had and I guess made. So I definitely get that, like, Aubrey coming in, then I'm like, oh, like, here's all the people that I'm already good with. You want to come in with us? Like, that could be like, oh, geez, you know?
It's where we start to, like, Eli was also somebody that was not questioning you, but also just very aware of your ability to like speak, ability to get people like to get their guards down. What was your relationship like with Eli up to this point in the game? Because this is the first time that you're on the same tribe, but Tyler pulls you into the same alliance. Like, you say that you know Eli before. What is this relationship like with Eli?
Yeah, I've always liked Eli. We don't run in the exact same group, but I've like hung out with him in group settings in Grand Rapids, and he's awesome. So like, I felt like from the jump, like, he's always been someone like it's been very comfortable talking to and like hanging out with. So I was excited to work with him. I did not know the game that he was playing. He was pretty cold and like cutthroat in his gameplay. I wish I would have recognized that, but I didn't. Yeah, but I mean, I thought, you know, we were good. And he always said, like, throughout, like, that he liked working with me and stuff. So it was fun to play with him.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so you end up getting pushed back over to the Vendetta tribe because Carrie wins her advantage at Exile. She uses the tribe swap advantage, and you pulled a odd rock to go back to Vendetta. You know, they wanted you over there. You were meant for the Vendetta green, and that's where you really see Hannah, you know, start to play like a very, very strong game. I think that what we've discussed, that might be your strongest individual performance on a round. Like, you've been involved in some really big moves, like getting your partner up at that joint tribal council, getting, you know, the safety chain advantage, being a part of that. But this is like Hannah did this. So entering this new group, you're kind of nervous that, you know, I'm new here, I don't really have these connections, but instead you find your spot, like yourself, in this power player position of, you know, do I go with Tyler, or do I go with Allie, and do I go with Sam, or do I go with McGingo and Zoe? Talk to us about weighing out those options.
Yeah, I would say that's another one. Like, watching it, I was like, okay, if I were to make it to the end, like, what would I have talked about? And definitely that episode was like one that I would speak to. It's interesting because really, like, looking at it, I was the odd man out, like, on that tribe. And I was like, I did not feel like a threat that I would go home. So that was like pretty cool feeling to start even being there. But that decision was hard because I was like, I know Tyler on the other side wants me to, like, after our discussion, he was like wanting me to look out for Allie and like his alliance. But then I had kind of the decision there to, do I go with them and like almost solidify that, because that would break off my relationships with, well, if I got, I'm trying to think about how to say this. Okay, I'm gonna restart. Okay. So like two options here, but one is if I get McGingo or someone on that side, McGingo or Zoe, or I go and get Sam. Those are my two options.
Yeah.
So it was really hard decision to make because I had to, like, essentially pick a side. Like, if I go with McGingo, I was gonna go kind of with Tyler, or if I go with Sam, then I'm going against like that group. So I was like nervous, but flipping Luke on McGingo, that made sure that I was still good with like Tyler and stuff, but then I made a new alliance with Luke, and then was still able to repair my relationship with Zoe afterwards. So it was almost like it all ended up working out because I was able to do it, but it was super nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean, you brought Luke in as like, hey, I'm not the only one that's making a getting blood on my hands this round. Like, you are also in this with me. And one of your selling points to Luke was like, we need to be in with Tyler's alliance. Like, Tyler is running this game.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to be a part of that. But you were like, we can flip. Like, we can always do that. How was that, like, just part of your pitch? I mean, we see you both end up doing that, but how, like, when you're pitching this to Luke, how intentional were you on that?
Yeah, I mean, in the back of my mind, when I was going for McGingo, I was thinking about that too. Like, if I'm doing this, it's not because I want to just, it wasn't to secure myself, like, in Tyler's group for the duration of the game. Because I was like, I don't want to do that either. But I'm thinking for the time being, it's better to stay with them for now and then probably break off eventually, because it was in my mind. It was hard for me to, like, accept that per se, because I, like, those are my friends and stuff. But I would say that it was part of it. Yeah, it wasn't just like blowing smoke.
Yeah. So Allie and Sam kind of give you the option of Zoe, McGingo, like, which one do we want? And you pretty directly go with McGingo. What was different between voting McGingo out and then going for Zoe, who had just, little did you know, pulled off a really great move with saving McGingo with an idol?
Yeah. So I feel like it was because McGingo to me is like such a presence. Like, you walk into the room and she just has this big personality and she's like a bold person. She's so athletic, and like, I was feeling like she was doing great in the challenges, and from what I could see, like, I thought she was doing great in the game and she was like a strong player. Now, watching it, I'm like, Zoe was kicking ass. Like, she was doing amazing. I feel like it just wasn't as, like, in my face as much as McGingo. But that's kind of why I went for her. And I also felt like I could, like, have a good relationship with Zoe moving forward.
I thought that was, that's how I read it, was that Zoe, I mean, regardless of the game that she was playing up to that point, like, Zoe probably would have not had as much bad blood moving forward after that flip as Magingo might have. So I thought that was a really good read on your part with that. But yeah, you go into that round and you're kind of you say like, I don't really want to commit to Tyler and this group. And I think that was, again, one of the pivotal moves of the game. I talked about it with Luke. I talked about it with Zoe too, where because you and Luke made that move to flip on Magingo and basically let Allie burn her extra vote. Like you guys really didn't need that. You knew where your vote was going.
Yeah.
And you knew where Luke's vote was going. So like you kind of just let her do that.
Yeah.
And that also really put the Postma's guards down heading into that merge. So I think that really contributed to their downfall ultimately. So you end up going into the merge and you finally get to eat. You link up with some people. Who are you most excited to link back up with and start playing with?
I would say John. I was so excited. Like, I was so excited to see him again. I was excited to see Aubrey again, like, work with her. Luke, I was excited to work with because we had started. I know we were together, but I was excited to, like, continue that relationship. So going into the merge, I felt pretty good. Mm-hmm. And I felt like Tyler and I were good at this point. So I felt like I had some, like, really good relationships. I was excited. I was excited going into the merge.
Yeah. So we see the clip of John explaining his advantage to you guys, laying on the ground, and like it's you, Tyler, Eli, and John. And John's explaining it. It's really funny. John's telling you how many laps he had to do in the corn.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like the subtlety is that John is sharing this information with you and Tyler and Eli, presumably making that like so you're cued in on this.
Yeah.
Those were like the only clips that I really had of John sharing it with people. I think he might have told Luke something. He might have told other people. But the only other time that I have John sharing it with people was when he shared it with Aubrey, like during that post-Canoodle session where he's like, So you end up having a conversation with John like right after where you're like, I don't know about Tyler. And like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did you want to approach that with John? Or like, did you think John was as close with Tyler as he might have been? Like, what was that dynamic like with John? And yeah, I feel like that was a big spark to the so-called coup that is brewing.
Yeah. Well, so I was kind of surprised not surprised, but I was surprised after John had mentioned it to Tyler that he had mentioned it to like a different group, but there were stirrings like of getting Tyler out. So it's not like I brought it up. I wasn't the first person to bring it up. Like, people were like, I'm kind of worried about his game. Like, he's playing really aggressively. And I agreed at that point. Like, it was to a point where he was just such, he made such big moves and was like leading the game so much that it felt like it had to go. Like, something had to give. Yeah. So I wasn't too nervous to talk about it with John because I think a few other people had mentioned it and John was kind of like nodding along. I mean, like, yeah. So when we talked about it, I was like, it's probably time, and he was like, yeah. So it was good. I mean, it was hard, but it was the right thing to do.
It seemed like you two were the closest to him though, that were going to make that flip. So you end up I talked with Aubrey. One of my favorite conversations again was all of you guys kind of standing around and having that conversation. It was like you, Luke, Aubrey, John, and I think Eli eventually showed up. So it was kind of like the early days or early showing of this safety chain. So how did you feel about that group? How did you feel? Like, I know that you've said that you're pretty close with everybody at the merge at this point. How are you feeling with this group that you're, bonding with?
I felt really good. Like, I was also like kind of proud of myself that it was like people that I wasn't like already friends with coming into the game. So like that was super fun, but I felt great. Like, I felt like we had a great thing going. And I was excited. Like, I was excited to do the safety chain, but I also knew that Tyler knew about it because John told him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, like this is. I was definitely like super anxious, but I felt good about the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also hear that Aubrey tried to take a swing at him the round before, and Samantha ended up going home.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with Aubrey at that point? Were you like kind of like, okay, I see you like trying to make this move, or like, you know, like I guess what was your read on Aubrey heading into the merge?
I mean, I knew that when I tried to like pull Aubrey in that they like it probably wasn't gonna last with Tyler, so I wasn't like surprised. And I wasn't upset either. I mean, I understood. She's trying to make a big move and get a big player out. So I was kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Like that makes sense to me, you know, at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but you are also aware of Allie having the idol.
Yeah.
So what is going on in your head at that point? Like, was there any inclination that she wasn't going to bring it to tribal, or was that like an actual like fear that she was going to play this for Tyler?
I'm being so honest with you right now. I completely forgot during the game that Allie had the idol, which is so bad. Like I said, sometimes I'm looking back, I'm like, Hannah, I completely forgot. But watching that video, that poor girl. Oh, forgetting that was tough.
It needed to happen.
It did. Yeah. But if she had pulled out, I would have been shocked. Like I totally forgot. So bad.
So yeah, talk to us about that canoodle scramble. So everybody is like, John decides to activate, you know, this is before we head to tribal council. Yeah. John decides to pull that group. There's already been rumblings of Tyler. Aubrey's putting a lot of legwork pushing Tyler. Zoe's doing that. And it seems like what is your role in this? Like, what is your role in this merge vote against Tyler?
Yeah, so once John brought up the chain, it was like I knew that Tyler could not be a part of it. So like I was like, yes, we have to do this. Like we have to do this. We have to exclude him. I was talking to people kind of pushing Tyler at that point, but it was kind of like it was pretty much everyone was like, this gotta happen at this point. But I was definitely part of it. Definitely was.
Yeah. But like when you're talking with Tyler, you're feeding him, you know, lies. And Tyler very confidently said maybe an episode or two ago, like, I can read Hannah. Like I can tell if something's up. And
not Survivor Hannah.
Not Survivor Hannah. But yeah, like it seemed like you kind of embodied like this Survivor player of like, okay, like I need to play my role as like this member of Tyler's Alliance. I'm really surprised that they did not, you know, think twice when you were they were like, yeah, we're gonna go for Aubrey, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us about lying to Tyler. How are you feeling about that?
Horrible. It was horrible. I hate lying, especially to my friends. Like I never lie, like ever. So that was so hard. Like it was killing me. It was killing me.
Yeah.
But I felt like Tyler at that point, whatever he kind of decided just happened. So when he picked Aubrey and I was like, yeah, he was just like, oh, yep, that's what's been happening. Like when I say someone's going, they usually go. So he was like, I just don't think he knew it was coming at all. And that made it even worse. Like he wasn't like, you know, he had no idea it was coming.
Yeah.
So then when it happened, I was like, oh my God. Like I just felt terrible. You saw it. I was crying.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you seem very on board that we need to go for John or for with John's plan or John's advantage to make this move. It's a lot of people's plans at this point of making this move. But as you progressively get closer and closer to tribal, like Aubrey's like, oh, I hope she's with us. And then like you seemed very, very like down at tribal council. Like you give a very vulnerable answer about, you know, like this, like I just don't like lying to people. And I guess where were you at? Like, were you at a point of maybe even like considering saving Tyler on that safety chain? That was a long pause between you getting selected and you picking Aubrey.
Yeah. That's dramatic, right? That's good TV.
That was you're helping me out in the editing studio.
Yeah. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Survivor, right? So like,
Hmm.
if you have to, if you want to go far, you have to lie. Like, it's unfortunate, but it is part of the game. Whether or not that makes you anxious or sad or whatever, it had to happen. So like, I was gonna do it, but literally, so when John announced the safety chain, that he was gonna do it, Tyler like whispers, because he's sitting right next to me. I'm like, of course. But he whispers to me, he's like, let's include Allie too. And then I'm like, oh,
You're
oh,
like, okay.
no. I was like, okay. It's horrible. And like that was like the last drop for me. I'm like, I'm crying after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this because it's something really interesting, especially about your game and your arc as like kind of like I hate to say like character, but like it's your personality on Survivor and like your experience in your game. So um in Survivor Dearborn days, like it's basically you're playing with your friends, you know,
Yeah.
like we didn't have a diverse enough friend group at this point
Yeah.
where it was basically my brother's friends versus my
Yeah.
friends. And
Yeah.
like you like everybody kind of knew each other. So that like interpersonal bonds kind of like went out the window. Like you're playing the game. And in fresh meat, it really kicks off like, okay, like I know a couple people here, some people
Yeah.
drove in, like more diverse group. And Bad
Yeah.
Blood was definitely our most diverse group of people from backgrounds of who didn't know each other. So
Right.
if it's really interesting, like on your first game, like you almost give yourself like coming into Bad Blood, like you
Yeah.
almost give yourself permission to play competitively. And then on this season, it's
Mhm.
like you're struggling with that friendship side of things,
Yeah.
allowing yourself to play competitively
Yeah.
against like friends.
Yeah.
Like I guess do you notice that? Like did you notice like I'm being a lot more competitive at this game, but there's this one hump
Yeah.
of friendship that I'm really struggling getting over.
Yeah. I honestly think with like how social I am, I would do better at Survivor if I didn't know anyone. Like starting, because I wouldn't feel as guilty.
Okay.
Like there was stuff where because I like can befriend people pretty quick, but like when you have these long lasting friendships, it's like it's so hard because like you don't want to like do that stuff. Like it made the game a lot harder. Like I would say.
Okay. So
Like,
if
it was good for me because like I obviously had those alliances, but there was like that anxiety of like, oh, I really don't want to like. But as the game progresses too, you get friends with everyone, and then you're like, oh my god, this is like so hard.
Mhm.
I just really struggle with that part of it.
Do you think a Hannah 3.0 would be able to shut off that, you know, that friendship part of the game? Like, or would we see like an evolution to that? Or is that always going to be something that you feel like you would struggle with in the game?
Well, it's interesting because when you're playing the game, you're like, so and so's gonna be so mad at me. Like, they're gonna be so mad at me, they're gonna hate me. And then you're done with the game and everyone's like hanging out and having fun and like no one even cares. So I think like having been through it and then seeing just that people really don't care and it's just a game, like I think I for sure could be a little bit more like cutthroat.
Mhm.
Like because you realize it's just a game. Like no one actually is mad. And if they are mad, like get over it, it's a game. You know?
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was really emotional for you after voting Tyler out. We see you in tears. We see Allie in tears.
Ugly
Like,
card. Ugly
where was that? Yeah. Where was that emotion coming from? Like, I guess, was it from Tyler? Was it from exhaustion? Was it from seeing maybe Allie in that state? Was it, yeah, what something I didn't mention?
Yeah, it was Tyler, just him sitting next to me being like just so blindsided and like he was sad. Like he didn't want to get out,
Yeah.
obviously. So like I never want to be responsible for my friends being sad. And then on top of that, it was because I lied to him. Oh no, that is horrible.
Yeah.
And then I knew Allie's still in the game. And you know, like how old was she at the time? Like
18.
18, she's young and like she was so sad and like Tyler was looking out for her and now she's gone. And then I felt really bad about that too. Like I mean, she's such a sweet, like she's so sweet and like I felt bad. So it was just a range of emotions. Like I don't want people to be mad at me. I hate that. But I
Yeah.
know they're not. Like they obviously, but in the game it just feels so like you're so swept up in that part of it, you know?
How were you doing like entering day 3? Like, I feel a lot of our finalists, like our final six, at least the ones that we've talked to, minus Carrie, who entered day 3 pretty defeated, like entered with like, I mean, Zoe was typing up her notes for final tribal. She,
Yeah.
she played a good game. Aubrey was like ready to make some like end game runs. Like Luke, was confident at least that he had to win out. He was on top. Like you entered it, it seemed like you were a little bit down on your experience at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I guess where is your head at entering day 3?
Yeah, day 3, I was like, because of how emotional the night before was, I was pretty like, I don't even know if I want to do this. Like, I hate lying to people so much. And like, I just, like, the path forward to win the game for me was like, I was just worried about like just getting so anxious about it. So I was pretty defeated, but I feel like I picked myself up pretty well. And then I dusted myself off, and I definitely was like, okay, this is just a game. I want to win. So I was upset for a little bit and kind of down, but I feel like I picked myself up pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you won some pretty, positive things at the Touchy Subjects Challenge.
Yeah, that helped me feel better.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about that point in the game? I mean, it seemed very, I mean, we've kind of breezed by these plot points like in past podcasts because it was very safety chain heavy of voting Sam, voting Allie off. Like where were you at, game wise? Were you just, autopilot working with your alliance, or like what relationships were you, maybe fostering during that point?
Yeah, I was pretty set with my alliance with Aubrey, and then I was going to keep working on my alliance with like John and Luke. So I would say definitely the ones that I had already established. But for the game, or the challenge, what was it?
Touchy Subjects.
Yeah, the touchies, thank you. I felt really like that was nice to hear what people said about me, and like no one cut my name, I guess. No one cut my name until the end. So that felt really good too, because people had that choice of who to cut, and I lasted till the very end. So between those two things, I'm like, okay, people are perceiving me in a really positive way. One, that was just nice, because it's nice to hear those things. But two, I was like, for my game, this is really good. Like, and I purposely like didn't cut other people's because I didn't want to make an enemy out of anyone. So I basically like threw the challenge, I guess you could say. But I felt after that, like I was in a really good spot.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, were you having more conversations about that? Because it felt like there's those 2 rounds, like the safety group really stuck like together.
Yeah.
And then you had Zoe like start to have conversations with Carrie, like Eli's having conversations with Allie. Like was that just like your move of like, I'm just going to strengthen these relationships with the people I'm with?
Yeah. And I feel like Zoe and I were talking quite a bit at this point. Zoe was such like a strong, great player. So like, I felt like it was advantageous for me to like be with her. Cause she, like I said, she played such a great game. But yeah, I was like fostering that relationship, and then definitely the safety chain. Outside of that, I felt like at a certain point you gotta be like, you can't work with everybody.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my focus at that point.
You do end up extending kind of like an olive branch of sorts to Allie and maybe just like checking in on her a couple times. And she gives you a nice gift of pulling you at tribal council and telling you not to tell anybody about Eli's idol. Like, talk to us about
that. Was horrible for me. Like, horrible. Like,
yeah, talk to us about that.
I understand why she did it. Like, whatever. But for my gameplay, that was horrible. Like,
yeah.
I was like, and then she's begging me not to tell. And like, I felt bad about with Tyler, and I care about her. And like I said, this is me like being like too nice sometimes, I guess. But I didn't tell them the truth. So I'm like having to think of this lie. And then I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Eli, she gave the idol, and then he just goes and votes her out. Like, I'm like looking at that, I'm like, that's what he was just so like,
it was such an interesting thing. I mean, we talked about that with Aubrey. Like it was the Postmas had such a vendetta against Aubrey, like on the jury, and
Yeah.
Allie was
Where
voted.
did that come from? I didn't really get it.
But didn't really get an answer to it either. So it seemed like Aubrey was just like kind of against, like they were throwing out her name and she just kind of came out on top of it. But
Yeah.
Allie also went and gave her idol to Eli, and
Right.
he, almost burned them the most out of the people that flipped. So
I voted her out right away without
So-
hesitation.
yeah, so Allie gets sent home. Like, I mean, at that point, it seemed like Allie really needed it. Like
Yeah.
like not that Allie needed,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like Allie needed that little rest. She needed to be reconnected with Tyler and
I
needed
think she was done. She was ready to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which
your
I
game,
get.
your game is opening up with this information about Eli's idol. And you play it, I think you play it off pretty well. I mean, it just sparks a little question mark in Aubrey's head and some other people's heads that you actually got the idol. I mean, I don't think that eventually really evolves to anything. But
I do wish I would have told people. Like looking back, I wish I would have told people that he had that, because I feel like there was I probably would have lasted, or I don't know. I feel like I could have stirred things up. I thought Ela and I had an alliance that I don't think we actually had. So like looking back, I'm like, I probably should have just told people that he had it.
I mean, I think in your, like, the way that everything played out, it played out the best way that you could with that game. Like at that point you had approached Aubrey on being in your final two, and she gave you her answer.
I was like, okay.
And then you then turn around and use that information that Allie gave you to then solidify a final two with Eli, who also ends up, not coming to fruition, but he at least accepts it. And like you use that information moving forward. So talk to us a little bit about that decision to lock in with Eli. How solid did you feel with that?
I mean, I felt solid. Like at that point, like you said, my number one ally in the game was like kind of giving me the cold shoulder. But I felt solid with Eli. I feel like, there's always things you could have done differently. Like, I don't know, maybe I could have tried to get Luke to go with me instead of Aubrey, or I could have told people about the Eli's idol just to stir things up, kind of get the talk at least away from me and on something else. But I also wish that I had tried to protect John more than I did, because I feel like we would have looked out for each other. So like I definitely, like, those are some regrets I have.
Yeah, talk to us about that. What was the move for you to flip on John?
Honestly, I was just happy it wasn't me. Like, I regret that. It was kind of like a herd mentality kind of thing. Like, this is what people are doing, so I'm going to do it. But I feel like I could have like tried to make a case for someone else that I wasn't as close to. So I regret that, because I think John and I would have looked out for each other. And I think with like at least someone to be with when you're that few people left, like it would have been, we could have, I don't know, maybe even made it to the end together.
Yeah. I think, Hannah, like just being a Survivor fan, putting on my Survivor fan hat, like I think the only people that you have a chance of at least making it to the end with is going to be John and Zoe. Like, I think everybody else in that game recognized yourself as like a really good talker, a really good speaker, and we're going to do anything to try to like not get you into those seats.
I think I was kind of doomed at that point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, talk to us about that. Like, what made it so compelling to like want to work with Eli, want to work with Aubrey, and want to make it work rather than maybe seeking those other avenues?
Well, that's a good question. With John, like I said, huge regret. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, we should have gone together. So there, I don't have much of an explanation. Like, obviously, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Zoe, I agree with you. Like, I've never thought of that, but like, I could have gone to her and we could have made some big moves together. But another great point. I definitely should have done that, because Zoe was, and that would have been fun too, because we were both returning. Well.
Hey,
Maybe next time, Zoe.
we'll save it for the Survivor fan
Yeah.
fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
So you end up voting out John, your
Yeah.
bestie, and he is on the juror bench. And then we finally get to your round where you end up meeting your fate. But Aubrey and Luke are on your radar, and you seem to be the only one that is acknowledging this. And it's kind of like, you're Chicken Little, like calling out that, like, hey, like I have this feeling that these people are not, that are working together. They're a really strong pair, and
Yeah.
nobody is listening to you. Like, and then you eventually start to second guess yourself that, it might just be the move to go for Zoe. You really were in like this like dilemma of, I go for my number one ally who might
Yeah.
be going for me, or I, stick with the numbers and, you lose somebody else. Like, I guess, like what was your thought process going into that round? And like, did you really have a game plan? Because in those confessionals, I don't want to say you seemed lost, but you really seemed like that, like there was no clear path of how to
Yeah.
get to the end.
Yeah. I felt like there was nowhere to go. Like I knew like the writing for me was kind of on the wall. I was saying like, oh, maybe not, but I feel like I knew that like it was probably gonna end. And I didn't really see a path forward. I felt like I kind of threw my hat to Eli. He was like, no. Well, no, I'm sorry. He said yes, but I didn't feel like it was enough. Like, because Eli at the end of the day looked out for himself. So like I got a kind of sense that, and then Aubrey said no, and then like I felt like her and Luke were getting really close, and then I guess I didn't consider going with Zoe. Obviously, that would have been a good move, but so I was kind of like, I feel like this is the end, and I kind of accepted it. I was like, I feel like I played a great game, and it was a lot, so I was kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, this is my time.
Yeah.
My parents are like, you should have fought more, blah blah. We
I
probably
think there's only so much you can do. Like, you were gonna either win that immunity challenge,
yeah.
or I mean, Eli could have sauced you that idol, but I feel we haven't uncovered the thought process behind that with Eli yet.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Eli, but
Um. So yeah, I mean, you end up getting your torch snuffed. Who did you feel maybe the most betrayed by, or was there any bad blood heading out?
well, I mean, there's no bad blood, obviously. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I would say if I had to pick, like, obviously Eli, like, I threw basically, like, we said we were going to go final two, and then he played an idol for himself after not getting one vote. And then I would say also Aubrey, obviously, because she totally turned on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like after Allie pulled me at Tribal, like, I felt like after that things were not the same. So, but kind of her too. She didn't mean to, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be kind of an interesting discussion because we really haven't gotten any insight on the jury dynamics. We've talked to our final three, and we talked to Zoe, who was probably with the jury for a total of like 5 minutes and got back out to do those final questions. When you get to the jury, what is your vibe? Like, what are you thinking? Like, I guess what questions are they asking you? Did you like get the vibe that they were very Luke heavy?
I had no idea who was going to win. Like, I had no idea. I knew I was going to vote for Aubrey because I think she just played an awesome game. Even though she burned me, I was like, I'm going to vote for her because she was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not get the sense that people were Luke heavy. Some of the questions I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are ruthless. People were saying. But no, I honestly had no idea. I pretty much knew it was between Luke or Aubrey, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you campaign at all for like Aubrey? It's kind of a weird thing to do, like when you're a juror, like is campaigning for somebody, but like those people like Samantha, McGingo, Tyler, they've been going a little stir crazy being there for a whole day. Like, did you go in and explain the game at all, or were you just like, where's my shot? Like, let me what was Hannah's approach to the jury?
I definitely did not campaign for anyone. I was kind of like, whoever wins, like, I'm happy for him. I wasn't like super passionate about any one person winning. So I did not do that. We definitely talked about the game and like what happened and kind of the behind the scenes stuff. It was fun to just kind of relax at that point. I took a shower and it was fun. I mean, it was super fun to be on the jury.
Yeah. Who were you happiest to see on the jury?
That's tough. McGingo's so fun, and like her and I got close. We hung out. She moved now to Montana, but we were hanging out for like a while after Survivor, and so I was super excited to see her. Obviously, Josh. I mean, obviously, but he was filming too, so I was seeing him throughout. John, super excited to see him. Tyler, it was so fun. That jury was so fun.
What were your thoughts on how the rest of the game played out? And talk about this from maybe the juror perspective. So you're on the jury seat, you take your water shot with everybody,
Yeah.
You sit down and you end up seeing like Eli go and you end up seeing Zoe go and you have your final three. So what were your thoughts on Eli's elimination and Zoe's elimination?
So just remind me, so I'm saying the right thing. When Zoe went out, Luke did not have an immunity idol, correct?
He didn't have an immunity necklace. Carrie had it, and
yes,
and they voted for Zoe. It was between Aubrey and Zoe.
I don't get why they didn't just get Luke out. Like, he was shocked too, like watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I looked at those three women. I'm like, get him out. Let's do 3 women in the final 3. Like, that would have been awesome. And he was playing such like a strong game. I mean, all of them were.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I mean, hindsight is 2020. But I was like, get him out, like I wanted to like yell from the jury, but
yeah. Did you were expecting Eli to get out?
I would say between Zoe and Eli, I felt like they both played very well. So I could have. It was probably, yeah, I would say it was like either or, but they both played like so great. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you have your final 3, Carrie, Luke, Aubrey. You already said that, your vote was kind of locked in for Aubrey already. Did you get the sense that everybody else's votes were locked in, or was it, like, I don't know. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, I did not get that sense. I mean, certain people like Tyler, obviously he said that, which I thought was crazy. But yeah, certain people probably, but for the most part, I was like, people were pretty much like gonna decide there, which I think is super fun. I think it's more fun to do it that way. I hadn't necessarily decide Aubrey, but that's where I was leaning. And then after I was like, okay, like.
What was your interpretation of Carrie's game?
I thought Carrie played a great game. I think the way that Carrie had to go to exile so many times and then still survive so many tribals, having not had as much time to form those relationships, was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think so obviously like Luke wins, like I feel like it is a very different final tribal council. Everybody has a very unique game. Mm-hmm. Watching it back, like, do you think that like some of those games were painted better watching them back than being in person? Or like, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, do you for example, for me, like when you're out in the game, I feel like you don't see Carrie. Carrie's not around, and you're in the episodes though. You get to see Carrie's thought process of like, this is where I'm at in the game. I'm at exile. I need to talk to these people.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, watching it back, whose game like maybe stood out to you? What parts of those final 3 games like stood out to you of like, I didn't recognize that in person, but I get to see that now watching it back?
Yeah. So I think definitely with Aubrey, like she was thinking very far ahead, and she was saying that in her confessional. So like other people would focus on what's happening right now, and Aubrey's like, well, I can't go to the end with Hannah because XYZ. Like she was definitely like thinking even early on about what 7 steps ahead, what am I gonna do? So I thought that was super impressive. And Luke was like, his ears to the ground on everything, and he's like paying attention to everything. Like, and he's like, Hannah said that she wants a Grand Rapids person to win, or like, he's just very like, and he's taking it all in and like making strategy as he's doing it. And then Carrie, like she played the idol to Josie, and like she did that without like, even though we were all this plan. So like she was like thinking about, I need to keep my partner in the game. So like she made some bold moves that I was unaware of. So like everyone did stuff where I was like impressed. I'm like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other question, I think this might be the final one I have, at least on Final Tribal,
Yeah.
was it came up with our discussion about Aubrey, where at the point that you asked her to be in the final two, like she was like, I can do this on my own. I don't really need like a partner in the game. But like,
Yeah.
what pushed you away from doing that earlier? Like, why might like you and Aubrey were very close? Why didn't you
Yeah.
maybe propose that to her earlier in the game?
I mean, I felt like it was almost like unspoken. Like
Okay.
we were, and I had said like it's you and me, like throughout the game, like we got this, like we're together. So I don't think I explicitly said like, oh, we're gonna be final two until that moment. But I feel like it was kind of like I felt like I didn't need to, but I guess I could have to feel because then maybe if I said it earlier, I would have gotten that reaction earlier.
Yeah.
But and I could have done things differently, but I felt like we were so solid. Like I was really surprised when she reacted that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's your season, Hannah. That's bad blood for you.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, we still have the word association that we've been doing. So I'll be reading out everybody's name one at a time, and you let me know the first word that comes to mind for them. You can reuse words. This is really like kind of no rules. This is just our replacement for doing the points, the power player points, because we don't have anybody to give points to anymore. So you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's start off with Adrian.
Fun.
Okay. Allie.
This is hard. I want to be intentional about it. I should just go. I'm not overthinking it.
Whatever you want to do.
Allie. Well, she's athletic. She was really athletic.
Aubrey.
Smart.
Brooklyn.
She's also fun. Sorry, I reuse fun.
You can reuse them. Chase.
Kind. Also father. He's a dad now. Well, almost.
Eli.
Okay, for Survivor, Snake.
Okay.
But otherwise, easy to talk to as one word.
Okay. Grace.
She's compassionate.
James.
Smart.
John.
Bestie.
Okay. Josh.
Husband.
Josie.
Spunky.
Carrie.
Thoughtful.
Luke.
Strong.
Magingo.
Outgoing.
Sam. Boy Sam.
Trying to think of a good word to describe Sam. Funny.
Samantha.
Strategic.
Tyler.
Awesome.
And finally, Zoe.
Zoe is. I want to just say Zoe's so kind. I'm gonna say kind again. Sorry,
Okay.
Nice people.
All right, Hannah, that is your word association, and that's kind of it. I guess the last thing that I have for you is just what are your thoughts on your experience, your season? Like this is kind of your last time to, put a close to your bad blood chapter.
Yeah, well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for doing all of it because honestly, it's so much work for you and the crew, and it was so fun to watch. Like, honestly, you just did a hell of a job, and I'm so impressed with you and proud of you. And I want to thank you for bringing me in to do this experience, not once but twice. Like, how amazing. Like, it was such a great experience, and it's something that's so unique that I can say that I did, and that's because of you. So I'm just first of all, I want to say thank you so much.
Aww.
But it was such a great experience. Like, looking back, the amount of friendships I've made because of this, like, we did a fun, like, I had an engagement party and we took a Survivor picture, and it was like so many people were there. Like, I still hang out with a bunch of the people, cast and crew. So it just looking back and having that forever to be able to watch, like, one day I'll probably show my kids and they're gonna get so into it. It just, I'm super, super just thankful and happy to have had that experience.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you got to have that experience too.
Yeah.
I sent you the clip that Mark filmed of you in the basement doing your little exit press, and he asked, are you gonna, like, would you do it again? And you said no. How has that changed, Hannah? If we managed to get 3.0 going, you're back?
If you'd have me, no pressure, but yes.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, Hannah, my turn now. It was such a pleasure to have you come back. I remember I told you, like, this is like I wish you were able to have that full experience that I knew you were capable of in freshman. Yeah. And I felt like this was like really your experience, and it was super hard, and I was super proud of you, and it was so fun to be able to see you out there and also see you on my screen as I was editing. You had some wonderful confessionals, made me laugh multiple times. So definitely appreciate that. But yeah, also, I mean, you've also helped build that bridge between our Detroit friends, our Grand Rapids friends, Cincinnati friends. So I appreciate your friendship, and glad this is kind of a testament to how far we've been able to expand our friendship with ourselves and other people. So thank you, Hannah.
Look how cute we are.
I know. All right. Well, that is everything that we have to go over today, Hannah. For those listening in, we have one more podcast. We are waiting for Eli to get his schedule so that we can get him on and close out our Bad Blood chapter altogether. So stay tuned for our social media for an update for that. But Hannah, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was so fun reliving everything.
Yeah.
Good night. And yeah, for everybody else, have a good night. Head back to camp. See you guys soon. Bye.